Hey guys, this is Rainwolf, and I am back and I'm alive.
Well, it's about damn time, sir. Glad you're feeling better. This is Kirito Silverheart.
This is Asana Silverheart.
And this is Lyria.
And surprisingly, there was no fire for my return.
Hey, we did our best to try and keep things under wraps for you while we were gone.
I think we did a good
I
job.
believed you. I wasn't too worried about a fire happening. Well, more of Asuna and Lyria having to keep you in check.
Yep, basically. But hey,
Always.
we're all here. We're all alive.
So it starts out with a good evening to Sota from Mr. Well, whatever. I forgot his name.
Mr. Kieran, basically.
And then to your theory from last week, I really, really think he is kind of like either an extension of Kirimaru or Kirimaru himself or something.
Yeah.
There's something with time travel there, and there's some stuff going on.
Well, because we've already known, it hasn't been hinted to in a while, that he has some interaction with time. And we don't fully know what that ability and what way it is.
Yeah, and the simple fact of the transitional effects that they use in this scene near the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
When he's talking about the comet and Mr. Soda's just standing there. He's like, I don't see any comet. You know, they say it's not even close enough for anybody to see it with their own eyes yet. And he was like, oh.
With that comment, I'm kind of shocked Sota is not able to see it. Because Sota has...
Really?
Out of humans, he is similar to his sister, where he has the trait to see
The demon, in which he did see them in the original, didn't he? Or did he not? Yeah,
well,
he
the
did.
comet wasn't a thing back then, but when it came to the demon energy, he did see
But
it.
but he did see demon energy and everything. So yeah, so I was also kind of shocked at why he couldn't see it either.
Maybe it projects some kind of a different energy.
Well, yeah. Different type of, or even it may be too, well, even for him, it may be too far for him just of yet to see.
True. Maybe he doesn't have that level of sensitivity to it.
Well, we've always known it wasn't crazy as strong. And then Sota's wife comes walking back up.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like she had been traveling for a performance.
Yeah, and she greets, Mr. Kieran with, a thank you for always looking after Toa. And I'm like, yeah.
It's hilarious that they're giving Toa weird medical ailments like they did with Kagome.
Yes.
She also had rheumatism.
Yeah, she did have rheumatism. Apparently it's genetic, even though Toa was adopted. So
I mean, hey, if the excuse works once, then why not try it again?
Fatal notion's not blood related.
Exactly.
In a way, technically, well, by marriage.
I think he would have been super young though. Like he was pretty young when he found her. Like to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say it's impossible. I've seen stranger stuff.
No, he wasn't really that young because he was in high school or early college at the time when he found her.
He started.
Well, I mean, and there's always the aspect of they could have adopted Toa from a blood relative.
True.
Yeah.
True.
There is that in-family adoption.
It is
system
funny.
that happens.
I agree with Illyria. It's just funny they're giving the same illnesses.
So we go on forth, and he brings up the moment. It's been 500 years, and there's something I wanted to say, even because I know we were trying to do a bonus episode just to cover little things that I was going to say, but also this is one of those things that kind of throws me for a loop, because if the comet still exists and it's coming back now into the modern time frame, where are the demons now? Who is supposed to take care of this meteor? Because as we've seen in the past and what we've been told by Riku, if the comet fragment is not dealt with, chaos will come and pretty much destroy the world. Is it possibly that all the strong demons that can take care of it, like in Kirimaru's state, where since he's been longevity, he sleeps. There's time frames where he just sleeps. Or is Shishomaru asleep somewhere? Is Inuyasha asleep somewhere? Or the children of Inuyasha, but on a different standard? This is what it just really throws me out there. It's like, how are we supposed to take care of this situation?
Well, see, and this is where playing with timelines throughout the series really messes with your head. Yeah. Because in all reality, we didn't know about the comet during the Inuyasha series.
Nope.
This is something that was brought up in Yashahime. And in Yashahime, you have a lot of the modern mixing with the ancient. And so it could stand to reason that because we are watching the events unfold in feudal era as we're going through the series, it could be something where, like I postulated last week, that Maru, whatever happens through the run of the series, isn't defeated, quote unquote. He could just be put back to his slumber.
Yeah.
And he wakes up in modern era, takes the guise of a human to make sure things are copacetic as far as the comet concerned. And he sees the comet, he takes care of the comet, and goes about his merry way.
Well, the thing is, he can't take care of it by himself.
True. So that's when, again, we don't know what's going to happen with Shishomaru, or could it possibly be that one of the girls has the power?
Possibility is, since the daughters are a thing now, that Maraha inherits the Tensaiga when Inuyasha passes away, if he ever does, or since he does have the Black Pearl that sends them to pretty much their father's grave, but it's also a point in time where time does not exist.
Yeah, it's a pocket dimension.
So Inuyasha and Kagome could technically live there their whole lives, and then whenever the situation comes, they leave, take care of it, go back in.
But
that's true.
That's kind of depressing.
It is depressing, but you can imagine how Inuyasha would react without Kagome if he had to keep on living.
And at the same time, this could go right back to the conversation that Zero had last week about, why is this our lot in life? Why is this our fate? Why do we have to be the ones that carry on this eternal existence and be the ones that do A, B, C, and D, like taking care of this damn comet?
Yeah, because technically, if the Great Dog Demon did not pass away, it would be Kimaru and the Great Dog Demon every 500 years taking care of it and calling it a day. Or passing it on to, if Kimaru had a child, pass it on to them, and then it would be to Shomaru and that child's responsibility.
Well, Inuyasha and Shishomaru did it too, though. So,
well, in this case, yeah. But the thing is, Inuyasha's only a half demon, so he wouldn't live as long as his brother. So the only other way would be for either another powerful full demon to appear that could help take care of the problem, or Kimaru has a child with another demon or something.
Or it's passed down through a lineage of half demons.
Yeah.
Just because a
the only problem
demon
with that is
lives significantly longer doesn't necessarily mean that a more progressed line of partial demons couldn't.
Well, the problem with it is with half demons, to grow to the strength they need to take care of the problem, the trials they have to go through with their demon blood.
Okay.
That'd be the one major issue, because they can't grow stronger if they can't surpass the demon blood. And as we know in the series, when it comes to half demons, surpassing that demon blood, even for like minor demons, is not that easy.
Well, hey, we've got a village of half demons now that we know about. Who's to say that the princesses don't say, "Hey guys, one of you come with me," and bring them to the modern era after they've kind of beefed up and powered up some, to help out with this shit. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of speculation that we could do about this, but we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yep. So now let's get back into this. After this scene where the teacher is talking about the comet, Kieran is talking about the comet, and then it transitions, they're looking up the meteor, then it transitions back, slides down, and it's Kimaru himself. And this is where the thought of that him and Kimaru are pretty much the same person.
Yeah.
Because of the way the transition was done in this manner.
And they have very similar mannerisms and speech patterns and everything, even though it's internal monologue for the most part. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of similarity between them. And I mean, let's face it, we've been screaming that since the beginning of the series.
Yeah. It jumps over to Lady Zero and Riku. They are at the manor where the great demon dog passed away.
And like last week, a lot of us kind of had feelings that this may be her trying to, use some kind of necromantic magic to try and bring him back in, alliance with her. But I'm glad we didn't see it go that way.
And I don't think it would work anyway. He with the way, the honor, and then also with the passing of him, the way he went, it would not be an easy resurrection at all.
Oh, no.
And plus, it's been over 200 years. He was sealed for 50 years, so he's technically 203 years old, more than that now. So we're going into this is like sums up of trying to release, for Toa to release her full demon abilities, if she has them at that. Then Riku asks how are you going to manifest her true powers? She is too kind-hearted.
She doesn't have any. He even denies it. He's like, "Oh no, I don't think she has any of those." Like, I'm
But
like,
I love this because Lady Zero Flout says, you've spent the most time around her. How do I bring out her inner powers? And he was like, I honestly don't think she has them. And she's just like, wow, you're a shit liar.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me that line that Lady Zero throws out there about him being a terrible liar. I'm like, is that trying to indicate that he senses deep down that she has an inner power like her sister, or is this him legitimately not knowing?
With Toa, it is a weird thing because we have seen little moments of her losing it, but it's so little that even if she was able to fully release it, I don't think it would be as powerful as it would take a real lot, or even Pearls to be involved to be as strong as her sisters plus Murha's. Because even when we've seen with Moroha that with just the minute she has with the Rouge, because that Rouge, all that Rouge is technically her demon sealed. But you also got to think the Pearl is there, so it's pretty much increasing her demon.
Yeah.
Because if I remember
on top
reading,
of that,
the Red Pearl is pretty much a powerhouse to strengthen demon energy.
Essentially, yeah. And on top of that, I can understand why she would quiz Riku, not just because he has spent so much time with Toa particularly, but Riku was there when Toa went total pissed and unleashed the Azure Dragon Wave for the first time.
Yeah.
And tried to take out, the name's escaping me right off, but the one that had the purple pearl.
Yeah, I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about. The little cat looking with wings. Not cat, but or the tiger. But most people know who you're talking about if they've been watching.
Yeah, basically the one who powered Yashahime to try and mind brew all the princesses.
Yep.
But yeah, I was thinking back to that, and I was like, okay, so if anybody would know, it would be Riku.
Yes.
Because he honestly could have looked at her and said, just piss her off.
It was Kiyuki was the name of
Kayuki.
Of
Thank you, Kayuki. Yeah, so Riku could have just looked at Lady Zero and just been like, all you gotta do is piss her off, kill her sister or something.
Just, kill her sister. That's a whole other problem in your hands.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
So it brings up, and now we're transitioning over to Moroha. She's sleeping, but I think she's faking it because of the way this whole interaction goes. Because Toa and Setsuna are talking to Jubei about the marking on her arm, and he says this is probably a blood blade. Pretty much, you have inherited the blood of a great demon. It means things such as poison claws, blades of blood, and the demon energy flow through within you. And the thing is, we know Moroha definitely has inherited the great demon because she's able to use the claws of blood.
The Iron Claw.
Yes. Well, not the Iron Claw, but the blood version of it.
Okay.
But we have not seen any of the full
Blood Claw, Soul Reaver, or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember the name at the moment. I'll have to look it up.
Which one?
Moroha's beast out claw attack when she went in Beniasha form.
With the blood, when she uses her blood to attack with it. Why am I forgetting things so much lately? It's not Iron Reverse Soul Stealer because that's the wave one.
That's not.
Oh, Claws of Blood or Daggers of Blood, Blades of Blood on the English translation, or also known as, I can't pronounce that. It's Japanese. Some I'm pretty good at and some I'm pretty bad at. But yeah, pretty much Claws of Blood, Daggers of Blood, or Blades of Blood, and pretty much the English translation of it. So we go into it more. And he ends up telling her their body will strengthen, but it can be pretty vague at times. He's never seen it, so he doesn't really know fully how to address it. And the problem is, she doesn't have a weapon to fully help her hold back or to adjust herself. Like Inuyasha with the Tensaiga. Yeah. Then Moroha, technically in a way, has the Rouge for the time being until she fully ingests the Rouge, so that's going to be an interesting situation. So Moroha walks out of the tent after their whole conversation, but it looks like she's yawning, arms behind her leg. It's like, oh, that was a good night's rest. I don't think you were sleeping.
I honestly think she was. I think that maybe they woke her up.
That's possible.
It's Moroha. Like, she was totally sleeping and could not give two poos. She's just like, what's my next job for today, boss? Like,
yep. And then it comes up to Setsuna. It's like, we're willing to give you our share of Tetsutsu's bounty. It's like, you want to hire me?
It's like you went from having 1/3 to 100%. Hell yeah, I'll take that bounty.
She's like, what? Yes. Money. Let's go.
Then Hitsui brings a branch or not even a branch, and well, it is a branch, but a fairly big one, with the webs that Lady Zero used during their fight. Or actually, technically the ones during Muraku's fight when they tried to...
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm honestly thinking this is probably from when she trapped Moroku.
Yeah. So it's like, this definitely has the scent of her on it. And then it transitions over to Karmaru and Shishomaru's mother. It's been a long time since we've seen this.
This ice-hearted man, oh my god. This is my first real seeing of her, because like what I've said before, I'm not super knowledgeable of all things Inuyasha, like most of the people on
She
the
has
show.
very few scenes in the original series, and she's not that great of a person. Even
But
though
even
she
still.
rezzed Rin
She
one
already
time.
did it. Yeah, she did do it once, but that's because she kind of cares about herself. She's very odd. She's
She
an
is.
odd lady. But I mean, if you've seen Shishomaru's attitude, that
Yeah.
shouldn't be surprising.
It's definitely his mother's.
I wouldn't say fully. I think he has some father in there. He's not quite as much of a
The little interactions we've
She's-
had, I've seen of his father. We know
salty. Is that a good word for his
He's
mother?
salty.
Salty. She is very salty.
that
Like,
salt is so bad you'll have a heart attack just licking it.
yeah, she's pretty salty.
And then they bring up the moment of the windmill of time. Has it moved at all? It has not. I have not seen Arku these past several years. And she brings up the point that
They're looking for the pin. There's a pinwheel they have to find to, I guess, to make the windmill work. Am I
Yeah.
understanding that correctly?
yes. But the funny thing is, he even says like Shibiru has been having difficulty, but his mother throws him under the bus.
She's like, She's like, he's not having any problem. He just doesn't
Nah.
want to.
That's just a way of passing time. I think Shermer's true intentions are to take care of his daughters. That could not be possible. That would almost make him seem human.
Okay, so question from
Yeah.
the noob. What is this wheel? Do we know? Is this something from Inuyasha?
I can't remember if there was any involvement with it at all originally. Inuyasha Wheel of Time. Let me do a quick search. I spelled wheel wrong.
Remember it ever being in the original.
I don't think so either. Then we have Takachiko, not our so shady raccoon anymore, dropping off Satsuna and Toa. Calls them good luck, and they both split from each other. Toa ends up running into Lady Zero. What's up?
Yeah, it's like they both sense two different enemies and two different energies at the same time, and was just like, all right, split up, take them down.
No. I think Satsuna knew which direction she was going. Satsuna still has better sense of smell than Toa. Because even when when it skips over Satsuna, it says, I knew it. I wasn't wrong when I thought you smelled like Kodamaru.
Which was a reference to, when she put her blade to his neck and said, stay away from my damn sister because you smell like Kirimaru.
Mm-hmm.
But in my honest opinion, if the girls went there because Sasuna wanted revenge on Zero, why wouldn't Sasuna say, no, you take the other ass, I got this bitch?
I think there's also the sisterly protection because they've picked up on it, and also with her willingly giving her pearl to him.
Okay, I'll give you that. Sasuna is smart enough and strategic enough to know if I let my sister handle Riku, then she's going to just screw us over again.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
So you let Toa wear down Lady Zero for a little bit.
The clash Riku and Satsuna are having is beautiful.
It's a beautiful fight.
Yeah, that was a very good fight.
It changes over to Zero and Toa. They're fighting. It's like, Zero's pretty much mocking her. She's like, you can't win. Smirks. Arrow comes, that giveaway, like always. Arrow comes flying out of the air, blasts the door open. And I love this whole scene of her on Kalama.
This scene in
With
last week's
Muraha.
preview had me so damn hyped. It's not even funny. Muraha flying in on Kilala and just unleashing hell.
Yep.
That got me hyped for this episode. I didn't care what the hell happened with Sasuna or Toa or Riku. I wanted to see Muraha on the back of Kilala.
And she's using her smarts during this fight. We haven't seen her do it in a while. And we've always known.
Well, she had some time to do a strategic plan now. Before it was very much she went out. She usually goes off of instinct. She's getting better with planning.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew also Lady Zero's tricks. She knew what Lady Zero was used to, what she's done before. So I think she was ready for her.
Yep. But
And I
also,
honestly think that's why she relied on Kilala instead of Takachio for transport, because
His mo-
Kilala is a slimmer target
yep,
and
her
much more
mobility in the
agile.
air is much better than
Yeah,
Takachiko's.
way more agile and way more battle fierce too.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
she's
she-
trained to do to be in battle and stuff.
And
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
her
she was
original
raised
owner was during the time was just battle after battle to
her
begin with.
teacher. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then she went with the demon tribe, that even more battle ridden. And then traveling with Inuyasha and the gang for the longest time.
And now the demon hunters. I mean, God,
Yeah.
Kilala is the MVP of the entire universe of the series.
I loved seeing the cribs. It's like that she, even though Zero was reflecting her, then when she sent it straight back at Muraha using the crimson /wave.
Yes. I was like front of my seat, like face planted in the TV watching this, and I was just like, do it, here.
And I thought she was going to get her too. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
I was.
I didn't think she was going to kill her or take her out. I thought she
No,
might
because
at least disable her. Like that would be a nice blow to throw Lady Zero off.
yeah, because we all know, even from the last fight, because it's only been pretty much.
Zero's she's pretty much a beast. Like she's
Yeah.
pretty strong, even though she's not she's not technically a demon. She's still very strong. And
Yeah,
they-
what did we call out last week? How strong is she? OPAF. That's how strong she is.
Because they also even say it's only been you're coming back for revenge so soon. So in this, they don't give us an exact time frame, but it's been probably only a couple days, maybe a week.
I'm not even giving it a week. I'm literally
they
giving
were
it
out.
2, maybe 3
The
days.
girls were
Yeah.
out for her. They were done. They were like, we're taking her out.
So
They
there's been
were
no time to
angry.
train to become stronger, anything like that. And so we know Muraha is not her priestess ability and her demon abilities are not to where they need to be to fully defeat her on her own.
Mm-hmm.
Then after
But the fact that
Crimson-
she's actually trying to go in with some tactical knowledge and some strategy, I think kind of does give her the leg up in this situation. Had it not been for Captain Douche Canoe,
she comes in after the whole black reflecting it back, and then it ends up backfiring because Zero ends up casting a move to pretty much evens out.
no,
both
it was
attack.
Riku.
Oh
It
yeah,
was Riku cancels it out. Riku throws out a mystic powder or dirt.
Actually,
which
it's not
takes
even
on
mystic powder. It's the dirt from the ground because of
Okay,
the bear.
yeah. He throws out the dirt from the grounds of the mansion, and it forms a giant black shadow cloud figure, which was supposed to represent Toga.
Yep, it is because it's the recess of the demon energy. Because this is how powerful he was when he died, and this is why his corpse is in a different dimension. Because if you left it to rot in just the regular world, there'd be a number of problems.
Yeah.
It wouldn't rot. So, yeah.
Well, no, there's rot because there's only bones left in the.
There'd be something. There'd be something somebody would try to do. Probably, like I could see someone trying to bring him back or something crazy.
And also, if they left the corpse for
Crazy.
other demons to eat off of,
Oh,
one,
God.
that'd be so disrespectful, and
Yeah,
two,
they're not gonna do
how
that.
many strong demons would exist because of it?
Right.
So then we see Miyoga. We haven't seen this little guy in a long time.
He says he's always been there.
Bull crap.
We know he's not.
What fold of that cloak were you hiding in?
Yeah, Maroha even calls it. Maroha's like, no, whatever, Grandpa. Like, you haven't been here. Like, you just show up when it's convenient to Grandpa. And he does. He always has. He always will. And it's
I still
okay.
find it hilarious that she even catches it when Miyoga says, "Wait, by master, do you mean Grandpa, the great Grandpa?" She even acknowledges that she is the granddaughter of the great demon dog because it's really gonna be the interaction when she meets her father and mother is gonna be very interesting. And the backlash wave, and he even brings up the backlash wave was originally the head Saiga's move. So, and he keeps going on the diffusing the reversal of the demon energy because of what's left. It's like, never mind, I just got to go with the flow. Kalala drops her off. She's right in front of him. The other two show up.
And Miyoga is yelling at her like, no, you cannot have this battle here.
Yeah, he's like,
He's
this
like,
is-
A, it'd be
this is
disrespectful
very
AF, but
disrespectful.
B, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, because it's your grandmother and your grandfather's pretty much tomb.
Yeah.
Place where they both died.
But it's not just a grave, basically. But yeah, it's an empowered place. It is a essentially sacred place.
Mm-hmm.
And Maroha gets 0 Fs. Like,
Oh, they all do because they're
they really don't know them. They don't know this isn't their family because they have no knowledge of their family. You
true
know,
knowledge.
so they don't. Yeah, true knowledge. They know more of them now, but to them, they're each other's family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not some random place or some straight. And plus, the way they see it is, Maroha
Taken out.
sees it. Yeah, they're like, we need to take her out. It's time for her to go. Like, so they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you try to switch venues to a more appropriate battleground, then you're going to give them a chance to either escape, strategize, or power up.
Yeah. And while they're going, this Riku even said, after Maroha leaves, he even says, like, after I took all the effort to get all 7 pearls here, and the way Lady Zero reacts.
I thought she was going to beat him to death right then and there.
I was waiting for her to do a real nasty blow to him. I'm not going to lie. She looked like she was going to try to kill him. And then I was like, okay, I can see this. Toa's going to get angry because you beat up her boyfriend.
Yes, thank you. How could this not go this way?
Yeah.
Lady Zero kills Riku, Toa flips her lid, and epic combat ensues with a 7 pearl powered Zero versus psychotically pissed Toa.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then once he brings out the pearls, it's like, how dare you bring these pearls back to me? I'll show you the true owner of these pearls are. Then all the pearls in the bag come to her.
And then, yeah, she gets the one out of the rouge. She also gets the one from Setsuna's eye.
Yeah.
And they form like this magical crown around her head.
I thought they were just going to go back into her body, but I'm guessing.
I didn't think they would go back, like, because she sent them out for a reason. I thought maybe they could have, like, I don't know.
Back for a reason, but also with the way without the catalyst that originally brought them to be.
The Shikon Jewel.
Yeah, it does not exist anymore. That's what I was like, okay, they're going above her head. Okay, this kind of makes sense because the original catalyst to form them doesn't exist anymore. So that
but we've seen various types of creatures and entities absorb the power of the pearls before. Yeah. Whether it be through physical consumption, like just swallowing a thing, or actual absorption of it.
In this case, it's kind of different because they were originally hers to begin with, and they're a part of her.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I could see where she could have physically consumed them, like swallowed them.
Yeah.
And the only way that they would have gotten them back was to kill her and cut her open. But I wouldn't see it.
Well,
yeah,
I figured maybe after she died, they would have just like flown out of her. Guys are just like dissecting people.
Well, I mean, it depends on, necessarily how she would die. We've seen deaths where, the head's separated, the body and the head are still there. We've seen deaths where they completely melt and liquefy down to a skeleton. So, I mean, it would depend. Yeah. A slower decomposition versus a rapid one. But I don't see the essence absorption, the energy absorption back into her true form for, like you said, because the Shikon Jewel, I think probably there's some kind of barrier or something there with like you said, the way it was formed. But then on top of that, I think it's also part of Zero too, is she wants to utilize the power, but she doesn't want it back.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the other thing too, is you've got to look at it from, I guess, a psychological standpoint. The creatures that we've seen actually absorb the pearls before, they've wanted that power. They've craved that power, that essence to be brought into themselves. Lady Zero is just like, I got rid of these for a reason, but let me show you what I can do with them.
Yeah.
So she uses them as an external power source, basically, an amplifier. She doesn't actually bring them back into herself to get back to her OP state.
Yeah. She gets into the point of, and this becomes a pretty quick battle because as we notice now, the pearl is what's kept the Bloodblade in check.
Mm-hmm.
Because all it took was a swipe of her back and done.
Yeah, that pearl came out and that blade reared up off of her arm. I was like, Venom? Carnage? What?
Because technically that blood is pretty much the great demon dog bloodline. That's the only way it was going to be that powerful to take her out in one hit. There's no other way.
Yeah, and you also got to think about it too that Setsuna was already in prime form when that blood triggered, when that blood blade triggered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's amped up because she's in combat. She's pissed. She wants revenge. I mean, all the key catalysts are there to supercharge that blood.
And then as she's going down and the pearls drop to the ground and they scatter a little bit, it goes over to the pinwheel and we see Shishomaru and Jockin.
Yeah, so they found the guy they've been looking for.
He's like running through the field.
They
and
have not been looking for. They.
Yeah, Jockin's even like, Lord Shishomaru, you want me to? Should we follow? Shishomaru's like, he's so done with it.
He was like, no, if we're seeing the pinwheel and that pinwheel's spinning like crazy, then that wheel's turning. I need to go check on my woman.
And as he walks in, or the two walk into the tree, transfers over to the windmill of time. It turns. Then it pops over to Kirimaru. There's a storm brewing.
And he acknowledges he's just like the wheel of time has turned.
Yep. And then Rin wakes up, Shishomaru, and then he's wondering, it's like, who has killed Lady Zero? Because with her awake and with her dying now, the look of shock on his face at first when her eyes open, and then when going back to his resting bitch face.
Yeah, so this right here, knowing the fact of now having the complete confirmation, you know, we got hinted towards it last week. I thought it was just maybe a mere threat. But now actually knowing that if Zero dies, Rin dies.
And it's confirmed too, because we cut to Shishomaru's mother after that. And she's looking into the underworld because
she has that treasure.
That's one of her little things she likes to do.
Mm-hmm. She likes to creep on the people that are dying.
Yeah, pretty much. She does. She creeps real hard on the people that are dying, mocks them. I think she enjoys that. It's like, you know, the old ladies that sit on their front porch and they're just like, what them children doing over there? Like, what are those kids doing?
Whatever. It's a hobby.
I guess so. And in her advanced age, I hope if she were real, she'd kill me.
She laughs when she is told that she has been killed by one of
Shishomaru's kids. She's like, that's so funny. And Zero's like, that's not funny.
You got killed by a half-breed.
And you've been trying to round them up, he, with her hand in front of her mouth.
And she even told her, she was like, that's what you get when you mess with them. Like, that's when you meddle in the affairs of mortals, that's what you get, Boots. Like, she knows better.
Well, and also she
knows better.
Even though she
saw what it did to her ex.
Her husband, I'm guessing her stepson in this case, or even if they were ever married at one point. Inuyasha, as a half demon, how powerful he became, and that's a direct line too.
Yeah,
exactly.
The great demon dog. Now you've got Shishomaru, then the other half demon.
She thought that was hilarious, though. She was so.
As I said, she's cold-hearted.
It was pretty great. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked her laughing at Lady
I like
Zero.
this little scene with
there's
her. There's
something. I've always kind of liked Shishomaru's mother. She's but she is a fabulous one, and I have always enjoyed her crazy. She's a nice type of crazy.
She's like, this is so delightful. I'm sure she'll soon pass this way. She is waiting for Rin to appear.
Yeah, Zero is waiting for Rin. Zero knows Rin's coming. She's ready. She's like, and even, you know, when she's asked, she's like, how are you? She's like, I'm not as miserable as Shishomaru.
And you know what this leads me to believe? This leads me to believe that now that we know, confirmed 100% the link between Rin and Zero, that Lady Zero took Rin and formed this link.
Mm-hmm.
And Shishomaru may have struck the deal with Trikio to try to barrier her, protect her, put her in stasis, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly think that this link was formed with Rin from Zero to coerce Shishomaru's cooperation.
I'm pretty certain it was.
Yeah.
I feel like Rin was taken or something along those lines. And it was very much their ploy. This is how we're going to get him.
And Zero even pulls it a more shady because she even brings up the moment of Inuyasha's mother. Pretty much the woman.
This is the cattiest bitch fight I have ever seen in an anime.
It was pretty catty, and like she's just like
It's like,
she wasn't having that.
The expression
Like,
that changed.
I was literally waiting for Shishomaru's mother to like port into the underworld and be like, "Hold my weave," or something. I mean,
It's like, how boorish.
Yeah,
These are
she
my
was.
last moments.
Yeah, she was like neither of them were having the other one, but it was very epic. I enjoyed it. She did. If you saw though when she mentioned, Shishomaru, not as bad. I'm not feeling as bad as Shishomaru is, or as I've always said, she's a, but there is a part of her that does care for her son, I think. And that's been showed because she did bring Rin back at one point.
Mhm.
If for no reason but for him. I don't think she'd do it again. So there's no buying her on that one. Anybody who has that hope that she'd do it again, she's not that
Yeah.
nice. But there's a little bit of her that I think she's out for her own team.
And the look that comes across Shishomaru's mother's face when she brings up the moment to Zero. So it was jealousy. How incredibly human of you.
Mm-hmm.
A human. Then she.
Oh yeah, it was super catty. Oh my god,
Just
she even
needed
like
the cat sounds in the background.
I'm telling
really
you, like I had Austin
did.
Powers flashbacks popping in my head. Table of milk, table 5, row. I mean,
And it was even like, from another, tell me from to woman from another one the dog demon didn't love. And I was like, oh, she's going to go through that thing and, and mess you
There's
up.
no reincarnation for you.
This is
right?
And like, oh, it was so done. Like it was done. But she confirmed it. She said that, she was like, yeah, Rin will die too. And I feel like his mom's gonna be involved though now. Like she's gonna be like, you know what?
Well, bringing her
Only
up here.
on her own terms though. Only on her own terms. But
Yeah.
his mom's like, she's like, at this point, this is just, I'm done with this. Like, I am done.
Well, you see that she's where her home is, her palace is at.
Yes.
And her seat faces the windmill of time.
Yes.
So with that moving and with this scene in itself, we never have had a conversation or a scene like this with her mother, even in the old series, with this much dialect from her, or even in this much expression.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna have a little more involvement coming forward.
Yeah.
So after this whole cat fight, I would say, it switches back over to the girls, Riku and Zero's dying body. Riku is going madam. She's dying there. Well, pretty much is dead at the moment. Then Shishomaru decides to show up out of the mist.
And I love how just like blatantly irritable he is.
That's him as a person.
But I'm saying, like,
demon.
in this moment, him and Setsuna have almost just as much of a 5-second cat fight exchange as we saw for the last 5 minutes between Zero and Shishomaru's
The
mother.
thing is, even asks, why didn't you use your own blade?
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. He looks at her and goes, so why didn't you use your own blade? She holds up her arm showing the blood blade and she goes, I killed her with this. Isn't this mine?
Yeah.
And
I'm like,
Yeah,
nothing.
that was
damn,
pretty
girl.
catty. She's kind of like, look what you gave me, Dad. Thanks. Like, I was like, oh my God, this family's savage. Like,
You know this from the beginning.
yeah, it got more so.
It just used to be more blood between the two.
Yeah, it's like everybody's in on it. Now, the only one who is not savage is Toa, and that's because she takes after her mother. Everyone else is just like savage.
So Shishomaru pulled out Tez Saiga to and
Got
it's
it right.
one that it's the one that will res somebody or prevent someone from dying because it kills the gremlins that guide pretty much takes the
It takes the soul to another
And
world.
see,
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that, but she's not a demon because I was thinking, well, you can only use that on humans because his father gave it specifically.
well, it's supposed to save a life.
Yeah, it's supposed to save
So
a
as
life,
long as
but
it has a soul,
yeah, I always thought it didn't work. For some reason, I thought it was merely mortals, like humans. But technically, she's not a demon, so
it's a blade that's technically not supposed to take a life.
Yeah,
So I think technically, if you tried to swing it at somebody that's not the gremlins, it just phases through them. If I remember correctly, kind of how the Tensaiga phases through humans if you try to cut a human.
Yeah, so he kills little gremlin creatures, She comes back to life and she immediately rips into him. She was like, "You did not just use Tensaiga on me."
Yes.
And he was like, "It's the only way I could think to do it." And she was like, "How dare you use his fang on me in the place he died?" And I'm like, ouch. Like, she is so freaking bitter.
Mm-hmm. And then Muraha brings up the point: I've heard rumors. I don't know the details, but Shimmeru's Tensaiga is a sword that saves the lives of the weak. So that's why the woman came back to life.
But yeah, this moment coming up, this literally had me and Asana's jaws through the floor.
Well, yeah, because she broke it. And I'm like, great. Now you have to go take it to the
Yeah.
smith, pop one of his fangs out.
No, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with this. Because there's one person who's been using a broken sword. Who's been using the broken sword?
Well, the problem is that
No,
blade can't be used to
that's-
harm.
I know, but who's also the most empathetic? Think about this real hard. So who's been using a broken sword? Who's the most empathetic?
Toa.
Exactly. That sword's
And
gonna
it
be
actually
hers
did
at the
break
end.
off in a very similar location
That-
to her blade.
Well, and the other problem is the seal that's on it.
Yeah, but she is family. So eventually that sword's going to be hers. Her father's sword is going to be her sword. It's not going to be a weapon, but it's not meant to be a weapon. You have to remember the way Toa's personality is. She's less aggressive than her sister is.
And it does make sense that, well, because oh god, I just thought about this. If it comes to the point where he does passes his swords down, the other one is going to be a giant pain in the ass for Sasuna. Because remember, the other blade he has will devour. Even the great dog demon at first had issues controlling
Wielding
that blade.
Mhm.
And Sesshomaru had a problem with it too for a minute.
Yeah. So you have to think 2 swords, 2 kids. Who's getting which sword? And that exactly. And I was like, when it happened, like I was in shock. I was like, that bitch did not just break that sword.
But I think it's going to get fixed though because with that blade, no, that's the creator of that blade is not going to allow
Not
that
gonna
blade.
have that. Yeah. Oh, of course not. But also,
And I was going to say, we've already seen so many shots of Todesai.
there is, like I said, there is someone who can wield a broken sword.
Yeah.
So
but Todesai will not allow that blade to walk.
Although it is different, like, you know, I can't go more into it because we still have to go through the end of the episode.
Yeah, but it's still.
But it makes sense to me. Even though, like, the sword she's currently using sucks the demon energy.
Well, that's because of her ability. That's not. She
Yeah.
just uses the
Even
broken
though,
blade as a medium.
she uses as the medium. So what's to say that she couldn't use Tensaiga, reverse that ability, and opposed to taking energy, send it out, using Tensaiga as a medium?
I
know it's thin,
So
and I have some weird
I
stuff,
know where
but-
Asana's going with this.
So I mean, it's just a theory I have. It doesn't mean it could happen. It's just something
That's
I've
a
been
really
rolling around.
hard one because of the type of. I get where you're coming from, but I don't think the blade
know,
would
I know.
allow. In
I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, there is like and like you said, eventually it will get fixed. But if we need it
but then there's
for
also the seal
immediate, and if we need immediate answer, which we may,
Well,
that could be useful.
now the question is first, how willingly is Shishomaru going to be willing to give a fang up to fix the blade?
No, that's a good question.
And
See,
you know
But-
Todesai's going to beat some hell into him.
but like I said, they may not have to.
Well, or they could go to Inuyasha, get a fang from him to fix it.
Asha would give a fame. It's just Shomu. I could see him being vain and being like, "No,
These are
No,
my
you can't.
fangs.
These are mine."
No,
How dare you
or
ask for my fang.
he'll fly away and then just a fang drops.
Does
to
it
the ground.
require the
Yeah,
does
he
it
always
require
does.
the fang of a full blood?
No, just the bloodline.
Yeah.
Then why couldn't Moroha or one of them do it? Because
problem
Moroha
is-
has the fangs.
Muraha's fang wouldn't grow back as quickly as it should because she's only a quarter.
Now, Setsuna wouldn't care though.
If
And Setsuna has before. We have seen her go demon.
Oh yeah, Sasuna could give up one because for Sasuna and Toa, it would regenerate fairly quickly.
Yeah.
For Muraha, unless she somehow took in her
Okay.
demon, she'd be
Okay,
having a
like-
missing tooth for the longest time.
Like I said, I kind of see where Asana's going with the theory about the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Let's finish this
Yes.
because we can come back to this discussion
Yeah.
when we get to the preview.
So going in further, as we said, she's Zero breaks the blade. She's furious. Then Kurimaru appears from the sky like a sun.
Oh my god. I do like Maroha had a really good look on her face when this happened. If anyone saw it,
Yeah.
she was hyped.
It's
She
like,
was like,
"Great, I
"Oh,
get to
it's
kick your
about
butt."
time." Yeah, it took you long enough.
And then it ends on his face tilting down.
You know what? The one thing we didn't discuss that like broke my heart though
What was
was after he brought Zero back. Jockin was standing there with Ren, and he was like, "That was a close." I almost bawled.
Oh,
When
yeah.
Jockin
That-
was like, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no!" Like,
Well-
because he's still there watching her. Like, and
He's
I was
still
just
watching
thinking,
her, and he pretty much is the brother or older brother or
he kind of
full-
was her. He was like her caretaker in a way. Like, yeah, Shishomaru took care of her,
Yeah, but he was more of a caretaker.
Jockin was more of the here. Let me make sure you're fed.
He's
Here, let me
Alfred.
make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
He's
best way-
Alfred.
He really was. Like, he really was. He was much more of the basic need person, whereas Shishomaru's like, I'll make sure you don't die. Like, Jockin was much more of the, here, kid, here's this. Oh, you're hungry, eat that. He took care of her in a way. Like, and that just broke my friggin' heart when he was standing there with her. And I was just like, I was like, surely I'm not the only person who thought about that. Like, because if he wasn't able to bring Zero back, or for whatever reason they had to kill her again, Jockin would have been the only one there while Ren died. And it killed me. Like, I was done. I was like, I can't do this. But that was, I felt like I had to share that because that was a moment for me.
Oh yeah,
I think anyone who's watched the original series and they know
the bond.
Especially-
The bond.
yeah, especially like for a long time, Jockin was like, I don't like, like he walked
Yes.
around not liking her for the majority of the show, and then like the last couple episodes, he was like, okay.
Anybody last thoughts for the episode as a whole before we go into another sad looking scene?
Oh god.
Nope. Okay. Into the
No.
preview. Last episode, Shishomaru's daughter, and pretty much there's a crater. Crawl out,
Yeah.
Toa. Sasuna, Muraha's on the ground. Tears, blood on Sasuna, and that's all we see from Sasuna. And it doesn't look pretty.
Yeah. And let's not just ignore the fact of, every other preview before this has been like, voiceovers and all this other stuff and action. And then it's like, and next week on Yashahime, Princess Half Demon, blah, 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 blah. This preview, all you hear the entire time is just that downpour of rain.
Yeah.
It is the most somber, mind-messing preview.
I just noticed something as well in this preview. It's
What?
like when it pops up Toa, crawls, then it transitions over to Satsuna where you see her hand, her tail pretty much.
Uh-huh.
A little to the left, there's shrapnel of metal.
Uh-huh. Okay. So this is what I was saying about getting back to that sword discussion. I think I know where Asuna is going with this. So, like I pointed out, when Zero broke the blade, it broke in almost an identical fashion to where Toa's swords broke. I honestly could see either they take Sasuna's body with them, or Todesai just shows up, or something.
Or like a Todesai just walks up like a boss.
Yeah.
Like he always
No,
does.
I think
But I think Todesai.
she's- she'll do
I think
it.
Todesai is going to show up. I think Sasuna is going to be right there on death's door. Toa's barely going to have any consciousness, any energy left. Moroha's going to wake up. Todesai says that, he can fix Tensaiga if he has a fang. Moroha rips one out, puts it, gives it to him. He uses Toa's handle with Tensaiga's remnant of blade, and she saves Sasuna's life.
It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work because that blade it's the one that Toa has now is cheap. It's a replica. It's not of
It's not the real
two
one.
different grades of metal would not bond even with the Fang, because the only reason the Fang needs to be made because the blade itself is a Fang.
I stand by my original theory.
So
I
you would have to
stand-
get the part from Shishomaru, fix the blade, and there we go.
I mean, unless he takes out the sliver of blade that's left in the handle.
I just stand by my original theory that she's as much shit as everybody gives Toa and as much shit as we've given Toa, there has to be a reason. Like, there's something more to her. If she were more of the healer,
Mhm.
which I could see, that would make sense.
Yeah.
It would be much more reasonable to see Toa as a more of a healer type, where her sister Maroha are much more battle ready.
Yeah.
Even and that would be, as much as Toa fought when she was in the real world, like it would be kind of poetic if she was actually meant to be the one that was the healer.
Back to those blade shrapnel for a little bit. I really think those shrapnel pieces are Tatsuna's halberd.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that could make sense too.
That would.
Because now she has no medium. And then we also know Todosai has been working on something. We are just not sure what.
He's been talking about that. The blood blade was the thing that got me.
Well, that was the only scene. That's the first time he brought it up.
Yeah, that's the first time he's brought up the blood blade. But
And we've seen Todosai since we've seen Todosai in a while too. That's the first time.
But we don't know what he's working on. So
Because sometimes he's just crafting away. But in this case, with him being brought up and then the situation, he's obviously working on something. And it's probably...
Plus, on top of that, Shishomaru is always doing shit in the background.
Shishomaru has always done shit in the background. Sometimes it's not the smartest thing.
Well, and with how powerful of a half demons they are, sad to say, they need some kind of medium. Like how, even though Marahas has been sealed away, if she gets to the point where she takes up the whole Rouge and actually takes in her whole demon, the Rouge could still be her medium or something else, like inheriting the Tensaiga or Tensaiga.
I totally like I see a lot of things. I'm going with my theory. I feel like it's strong, but I've been wrong. So
well, next Sunday will be the last episode. Does anybody else have? There's probably not really much any more that could be said.
Several good theories that we will have to find out which direction it goes in.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also thought Lady Zero was smarter than she was and was actually playing a longer game than she was too. So, and I was wrong on that accord.
Nah, her
game was weak. I was like, oh, she's doing something more important. She's not doing. She's boring.
So with that, I will say we are going into next week will be the last episode, and then into that we will cover that episode. Then we will do a post show either earlier in the week or on our normal Sunday, give or take on how things playing out, on how the last episode goes, and we just want to, or if it works out, we might just dive into one and just have a recording done already. And have a week break before we jump into, I know we were looking at 86, Shaman King. Was there any other ones that we were looking at that possibly cover?
For spring, well, now there's been the announcement of season 2 for Devil is a Part-Timer.
I don't. Well, we gotta
But
see
that
if
may
that
be
one,
when it comes out.
I don't know. I didn't see it on the spring chart, so I gotta see if it's actually coming out or not. I know there was another. Well, we'll have another list. We'll full out list next week or in the middle of the week. We'll post it, get some votes on that, and see where we go.
And if anybody has any suggestions, please throw them into the comments so we can get some more ideas.
Yes, we like the ideas.
And I'm Rainwolf.
This is Kirido Silverheart.
This is Austin, a Silverheart.
And this is Lyria.
And until next time,
Bye.
leave a like,
Bye.
comment, and even subscribe.
Okay, now bye. Bye.